The Daily Ramble on Claret and Booze. Hello and welcome to Daily Ramble here on Claret and Booze. My name's Gary and this is my Daily Ramble where we're going to focus on Calvin Phillips and Last Chance Saloon. That is the game against Newcastle on Saturday. Also going to cover some season ticket renewal news that might have shocked you as they arrived in your inboxes. And then we're going to sweep up a bunch of other stuff as well. Lots and lots of different small stories out there. About time we had some stories because it's been a very, very quiet week in West Ham world. Hence the lack of daily rambles. So, first of all, Calvin Phillips. The way I see it on Saturday is he needs to start against... I don't think we've got any other choice other than to start him against Newcastle. He's got to play in a defensive two with Souček because you can't play James Ward-Prowse there. We know that. That'll be just a disaster. Calvin Phillips really needs to grab the ball by the horns here and prove the likes of Chris Akabusi, who gave what I believe actually to be a true representation of the facts around Calvin Phillips, i.e. is probably a little bit finished. His head is probably not there, or his body's not there, or they're not working in sync. He probably peaked 4 years ago and hasn't played to the same level since. It was worrying, actually, very, very worrying. But look, he's got to take these chances. Now, he might not get back to the level ever of being a regular England international, but there's no reason why he can't get to the level of being a good, reliable Premier League player. This is his chance to take it. He's got to be disciplined. He's got to be pulling in the same direction as the rest of the team. And clearly, so far, what we've seen in his handful of performances is he hasn't been. He's been like a bull in a china shop. First minute he came on the pitch for his debut, all he did was run around fouling people. His passing has been awful. He's not been able to stick to the zonal marking system, so he's just been leaving his space, free for opposition to run into. And also, he made 2 beautiful assists for opposition goals, which is not good, apart from getting sent off as well. So look, it's been like the nightmare of all starts, making it seem to be the worst piece of business, one of the worst pieces of business in West Ham's history. But he's got a chance to put that right. Yeah, he can put it right. If he somehow gets his head in the right place, puts in a performance, disciplined, sticks to his the game plan, there is a chance that him and Souček can do a good job. They'll need they'll need an outlet. We can't possibly do that and play those two, invite Newcastle on, because then we'll get destroyed. Because then you'll have Phillips and Souček getting tested every 2 minutes, right? And then before you know it, you're going to see Zuma exposed. You're going to see Soufal exposed for pace. We've got to keep the ball as much up the other end of the pitch as we can, and the way to do that is to play in a progressive style like we've been doing recently. We've got to keep that up. Paqueta's got to play central, Kudus left, Bowen right. They can switch over. Antonio up top. Give Newcastle something to think about, because that is a hell of a strike force that we've got there, and it will worry every team in the Premier League bar none. Right, on our day, if we go for other teams, we can score goals against anybody. That definitely includes Newcastle. So I'm going to go into this hoping for the best and expecting an attacking performance like last time. What I don't want to see, and what I suspect might be happening at the moment, is we're drilling ourselves to sit deep against these, deep against Spurs, deep against Leverkusen. Low block is not for these games. If we do that, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. So please, David Moyes, if you're watching, which you ain't, please free up those attacking boys to go do their stuff. We can score goals against these, and we can win that game against Newcastle. If I was to put a prediction on it, I wouldn't predict we'd win it, but I think we can nick a point. I think we can nick a point up there without a shadow of a doubt. So all depends on selection, though. Please do not put Ward-Prowse in a central defensive midfield role without Alvarez, because that's just asking for trouble. So moving on. Season tickets. So season tickets, the renewal notices come through yesterday, landed in our inbox. I thought, firstly, it's March. What the bloody hell were they sending me this email for? The actual renewal date is sometime in June, like the deadline. Well, is this some sort of test? I don't know. I love a conspiracy theory. Is this some sort of test as to, how many people are going to renew early because they're delighted with what's happening at West Ham? Well, just in case it is, just in case that is something they're taking out of this, I'm going to be renewing very late this year because, frankly, I want to see what's going to happen next, right? Until I know that Moyes is not going to be here next year, and if it turns out by some freak that he is going to be here, then I've got to know the exact situation, the exact circumstances he's going to be here. Is Tim in control of signings? Does he have to bring on youth team? All those kind of SLAs and KPIs and stuff like that that have been discussed a million times before. Is he going to have to abide by those, or is he going to get a renewal of his existing deal, where he's the master of the universe? Personally, I don't think that's even possible, right? So anyway, let's see how that works out. But 6-point-something% rise on average. Anywhere between 6% and 11% rise individually. The end of the £99 season ticket that was, it's been going for 8 years. So, fair dues, even though there ain't many of those left in. They did flog a lot of them to start with, but when those people didn't renew, they closed those off. But there are still some cheap seats. There aren't many, but I don't think that's I think a market employer to a great degree. If you look at Band 6, for instance, how many seats are there in the £345 adult Band 6? How many are there? I'd like to know because I've got a feeling those are just the far reaches of the upper tier behind the goal. And those areas are probably getting smaller and smaller. But anyway, the ticket prices are going up. Everyone's been hit in the pocket this year, so I would think there'd be a lot of people who will struggle to renew. But then again, I suppose they can look upon this and say they've got a few months' notice to get their money together. Everything's gone up in price this year, so I'm not going to cane the club for that. But it was kind of expected. At least it's not. I suppose at least me personally, 6.21%. I can cope with that. I was just hoping it wasn't going to be 10 or 20%, because that would have made me really think about it. All right, so on to other news. So let's look at. We are being linked with Arne Slot again. He is the liberal version of Postecoglou. That's if we got him, we'd be playing Spurs, and it'd be like 9-8 to us. It'd just be end to end, the most amazing attacking football, I would imagine. But anyway, look, he's ranked. I don't know where they've fucking written this. They've got this list from, but someone's called him the 17th ranked manager in the world. I don't know what criteria that's based on. It sounds like a load of nonsense to me, but he is a highly reputed manager, a very, very good name. Currently at Feyenoord, albeit he's gone on long-term sick and they don't expect him back. But the fans and everything there, they love him, right? So I don't know whether that's a clue that he's gone on long-term sick. There is a sort of a backup manager taking over the team affairs at the moment. Whether that's a clue that he's heading for the door or that he's genuinely ill, who knows? So looking back at the internationals this week, I think Bowen. I watched the highlights. I don't watch internationals, especially. I'll tell you what. I don't watch internationals until we're past the group stage in tournaments. I refuse, because like David Moyes' West Ham, if I didn't support West Ham, I wouldn't be watching us. Right? England are very much secondary to West Ham to me. In fact, they're way down. They're beyond the youth team, right? Well. So I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to watch them out of choice. Even though Bowen was playing, I thought I'd wait for some highlights afterwards. And bloody hell, there was a show reel that came out of Bowen's appearance. He was at the heart of everything good, everything. Bloody hell! I mean, he looked like a man possessed. So again, that gives me a really good feeling. He must be floating on a cloud at the moment. Him playing away to Newcastle at the weekend, I expect he's right in the mood. As is Kudus, who's had a nice rest because he went off sick for Ghana, didn't travel with them. Antonio didn't travel either with Jamaica, so he's lovely and fresh, But the other one who played as well, who's probably also in, high spirits, is Paqueta. Now, Paqueta played in a 3-3 draw away to Spain in the Bernabeu a couple of nights ago, and he scored the equaliser to make it 3-3, because he don't care, does he? It was a penalty. And you know him, he was probably taking the piss. He probably did a little, little dance in the corner in front of the Spanish fans, I would imagine, because that's what he does. No one does shithousery like Lucas Piquet. Well, he's going to be in a great mood. So our entire front line, you've got Bowen flying. Paqueta's come back, after his long absence from Brazil, scored the equaliser away to Spain. He's going to be flying. Antonio's going to be rested. He was flying before the rest. Kudus is going to be banging the mood as well. So 4 more reasons why we don't sit back against Newcastle. In fact, if we open up against them, we can beat them. I'm getting more optimistic as this show goes on. I don't know if you noticed. Right, so let's look at other little snippets. A bullshit story about Rice and how his brother and dad were dealing with Arsenal a year before he moved. Who cares? Fucking hell, it's old news. Calvin Phillips, last chance saloon. Yeah, he's probably playing 3 games, actually. It'll be this one. It'll be Spurs in the league. And then it'll be the first leg against Leverkusen as well. I also think that, what's his name, Alvarez, the god that he is, has been away playing for Mexico. So yeah, not a bad thing that he gets a rest. He's going to come back firing on all cylinders. If we can hold that away leg against Leverkusen down to about 1-0, maybe 2-0 a stretch, with Alvarez coming back in the London Stadium in a raucous full house, I think we can do them. What else we got? Nothing. I think that's one more thing to check. No. I think this is a crappy story, but anyway, let's talk about it. Castor, rumoured to be the new shirt sponsor of West Ham, replacing Umbro. I'm not, I don't even know they are. I've never heard of them. So I have no comment. However, I've been told their shirt quality is absolute pony. I don't know whether these are 50p jobs made in a Chinese sweatshop or something like that, but doesn't sound good to me. It sounds like tissue paper. They split at the slightest thing, and when players sweat, it just mucks all the shirt up and stuff like that. Well, you're going to sweat, aren't you? I certainly would. Anyway, that is it. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to our channel, Claret and Booze, here on YouTube, and hit the bell notification icon so you are alerted of future shows. Until next time, see you soon. Come on, you irons.